everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Beck, and welcome back to Sidebar with Beck podcast. Today we welcome Nicole Schmidt, the mother of Gabby Petito, and we also welcome Kat Schwartz, the owner of Compassionate Healing Services, who with over 20 years of experience being a physical therapist, transitioned to practice and focused on holistic care. Nice to see everyone. We've been talking for a little bit.
Hi guys, so excited to be here.
Be so fun. And first, obviously, Nicole, I just want to say I'm so sorry. It's just sucks that this is how we get to meet, because I genuinely feel like we are friends. I feel like I know you and Kat have your relationship, and I just really wish Gabby was here to experience this friendship, because I feel like she would have just fit right in.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Kat makes great connections, and I'm so happy I met you. And you're around the same age as Gabby, so it's so cute, and you with your little blonde hair and everything. So you do remind me of her a little bit, although she would have never wanted to become a lawyer. So
I actually, if you ask me what my nightmare profession is, it's law. Like,
me too. Before we started, we were talking about some of Gabby's, music and things of that nature, because I know we grew up around the same, time. We grew up in that Tumblr era, that kind of hippie, as you said, the sublime. Growing up, I really was an internet kid on Tumblr, that everybody saw that through the screen from her. So if you could please repeat some of her favorite songs and her last song on her playlist.
oh my gosh, yeah. So her favorite band, actually, I just remembered. She introduced me to it. Was Dirty Heads, and the Dirty Heads are really.
Shit my pants.
So, and I have to tell you a story about the Dirty Heads as well. So I had a call with my friend Jonathan Mark. He's a psychic on Long Island, and he's wonderful. And the first time I spoke to him on the phone, he was like, "Hey, so Gabby liked this group, this concert, the Dirty Heads. Does she like the Dirty Heads?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you're going to be going to a concert of theirs." And I was like, "No, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about?" Well, fast forward 2 months after that conversation, I'm up on Long Island, and where I grew up in Patchogue, they were putting on a concert at this big festival, and me and my girlfriend went there with my kids, and we got in for free. And we got to see the Dirty Heads, and we're at the concert, and the lights are all teal blue. They're like flashing all these teal blue lights, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God, Gabby got me here." And then I remembered he told me I was going to be going to one, and I was like, I had to call him. I was like, "You nailed it, buddy. Took me to a concert. She got me to a concert," and it was amazing.
So I love the Dirty Heads. When I was in college, I got introduced to them from my friend Julianne. Every summer they have free concerts at Asbury Park at the Stone Pony. And every year, Dirty Heads would go and play. And then I've been to their concert probably 4 or 5 times with the same group of people every year.
It's amazing.
It's just crazy. I mean, and nobody knows the Dirty Heads. It's very,
it's very niche, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a beachy type of.
It's beach reggae. It's like West Coast reggae feel. Like, it's just amazing. I don't know. They're so good.
Amazing, because the one time I accidentally heard a performance at the Stone Pony, and I just so happened to be in Asbury Park because I was picking up a piece of glass that I had made with my then fiance, who we'll be talking about today. Because her birthday was 2 weeks before that, so you have to wait at least a week to pick up the glass. So it just so happened to be on a Saturday night, and I'm walking down the boardwalk, and I'm listening to Ziggy Marley. Bob Marley has always been a huge part of my heart, and I have a huge connection to Jamaica, and his picture's on my desk in the other room. So that's what synchronicity is, right? It's being at the right place at the right time. It gives you both magical experiences, and sometimes it saves your life.
Nicole, are we talking about how strong of a spirit Gabby is?
Oh, she's insanely strong. She's probably going to glitch this whole entire podcast while we're on it, so be prepared.
I have never experienced anything like this in my entire life. And for a little bit of background, people who follow me on social media know that I was in an extremely abusive relationship while I was in law school. And when I met my abuser, when I started dating him, it was actually when Gabby went missing. So I was with my abuser as this case was happening. I was talking to him about the case, but something in the back of my mind, I just connected with it. And I was like, I was just so concerned for Gabby. I just didn't know why it was pulling me. But then by the time, that month, I think, what was it, September 11th, right, is the day that...
The day I reported her missing, she was found on the 19th, yeah.
19th. That would have been, a month into school, and that's when things started to ramp up. Obviously, I was in law school. He was home, and it was ramping up because I wasn't giving all my attention to him anymore. Mm-hmm. But then with Gabby's case, it was, I almost looked myself in the mirror like, this is going to be me. This man that I'm dating is capable. I don't know if even then she was reaching out in a weird way, but I sure as hell know she is now.
I sure as hell know she was reaching out.
Kat is the main reason we're all here. So Kat, I would love for you to tell your story of just how you came and then how I came.
Divine timing and a higher power, and absolutely the spirit and soul of Gabby Petito, who is alive and well, like we all are when we leave our bodies, right? This is a temporary home for all of us. Some of us live 22 hours, some of us live 22 years, some of us live, seemingly 22 lifetimes in one. That seems to where this roller coaster seems like it's going for me. If you don't know my story, I was diagnosed with pretty severe mental illness called bipolar disorder before being revealed the truth through a psychiatrist who finally listened to me and heard my story and said, no, you're not crazy, you're traumatized. And you have complex trauma from your past and your present circumstances. A year later, I had a very shocking spiritual awakening because I was at that point a very staunch atheist for 18 years after leaving Catholicism, which I've never looked back. Certainly didn't believe in my abilities as a medium. I was a physical therapist. That was how I was living out my purpose at that point. And I did a lot of amazing work in physical therapy that I'm forever proud of and is the foundation of the holistic healing work that I do now. But the pivot from physical health to mental health was a personal journey that took me realizing, number one, that I'm traumatized, not broken, and number two, that I'm gifted, not crazy. Through a medium that I met named Mitch Ott, who I'll be forever grateful for, through his brilliant mediumship work, who, struggled with mental illness, because that's what happens to people who are highly sensitive and intuitive and are being gaslit by a system that's telling them they're crazy and broken. Meanwhile, the families, which we'll get into today, are the real villains, and in some cases that's very malicious, and in other cases it's simply intergenerational trauma playing itself on a large scale. I've been shouting from the rooftops since I discovered it in 2018 that yes, we are more than these physical bodies, and our loved ones, because I have plenty of them on the other side, aren't dead. They're actually playing with us all day, every day. They're fucking with your electronics, they're turning your lights on and off, they're stealing your shit and putting it other places. They're sending very obvious signs, some of which we'll go over today. I awakened to my ability to communicate with my father on the other side, and now my mother also on the other side, and so many other loved ones on the other side. I was also someone who, like most women, watched a lot of true crime because that's our fucking reality, ladies. We're not safe out here. Yeah. We really aren't. We're not imagining it. We're not safe. How do we get out safer, and how do we organize, and how do we find each other? Once I got really good at recognizing the signs from my own father, then I got really good at recognizing the signs from the people who were in these Dateline episodes. The day after Brian was found dead, we had Dateline on, the person I was in a relationship with, my abuser, and I were watching this episode. I certainly wasn't trying to connect to his spirit. I was just an observer. But because of the timing of it, and I just watched it, I knew the case's details very sharply. And as I stepped out in my New Jersey office to the porch of the place I used to rent space in Medford, New Jersey, I was shocked to see a New Jersey license plate that had Moab, Utah on as a vanity plate, and it just made absolutely no sense to my logical brain of immediately I saw it as the synchronicity as it was. I took a picture of it and I sent it off to my then partner. She said, "Holy shit," and that was about it. And that's all I thought it would ever be. It was a holy shit moment of Gabby Petito reaching out to little old me. Who am I, right? except a fellow Long Islander, you know, like that was one place that I, you know, one connection I could say, but I'm only 3 months older than Nicole. But then about a week later, my intuition said, look at the picture again. And the Moab, Utah plate was on a car that was parked, but the other plate coming in the other direction had, you know, certain details that didn't mean anything to me until I looked Gabby up. And it turned out to have her, the 2 numbers of her birthday, which is March 19th. It had 1-3 on it, and then it also had PCY, like Pisces. So those 3 details, Moab, Utah, her birth, you know, zodiac sign, and her birth, you know, 2 digits of her birthday, was oh shit. But then the signs just started flooding in. And it was just like she was stalking me, and I just kept capturing them, and, you know, making my album, and, you know, not knowing what I was going to do about it. And the one that really blew me my mind after it was, and one that we'll talk a lot about with the connection with Beck, is I was walking in Camden, New Jersey, which is something I did all the time with my then fiance. And it was COVID time, so you couldn't walk in the restaurant, but you ordered the food and you waited outside. And not only was the address 319, her birthday, but it was a college campus, so there was a chalkboard in the background, and I can literally see on the chalkboard Gab P with an angel drawing next to it, and the body of the angel is made of a triangle, and there was a triangle tattoo on Gabby's forearm.
She was like, I'm going to get your attention somehow.
And it was such an honor, but also such a shock at the same time. So I opened up an automatic writing session, and I said, please tell me why. You know, what am I supposed to do with all these amazing signs? And the 3 answers she gave me are 3 things we'll all touch on, which was, number 1, that you would believe me, that you wouldn't call me crazy, that you'd say, I saw the signs too, which is exactly what you said. I know she's around me. I feel her. I see her. Hey, I do Reiki too. I'm Reiki, you know, like, there was just this like camaraderie of like, I was going to be able to help you in a way that you really need, and you were going to be able to validate my gifts in a way that I really needed, because I was in the middle of a very abusive, traumatic situation. And that was number 2. You're in this kind of relationship. You get it in a way that you're not going to judge us. And also, because Brian was there too, and also that you're trying to do something about this. You're not just sensationalizing our murder. So I took the 5 most, you know, shocking signs. I sent them off to the Gabby Petito Foundation, and I received the most thrilling text of my life 4 days later from you.
Yeah, I'll tell you on my end, I'd go to the P.O. box and I would collect the mail that would come in. We were getting lots of mail at that time, and we had opened a P.O. box because of that. So I got this letter and I started pulling out these pictures. I'm like, what the heck is this? Actual photographs in an envelope.
What is the picture of?
I was like, this could be real sketchy. So let me see here. Let me look at this. And then I started reading the letter, and it was a beautiful, like, it was cards. I think you had, I can't remember. You had like stuff in order, and you told the story of each photograph. And I was like, oh my God, this is really cool. And I looked at them and I'm like, this is really cool. So I said, I'm going to text her. I just had a good feeling about the whole thing. It didn't feel like a weird person. And yeah, we had some weird people. I'm just going to throw that out there, but Kat was not weird.
Thank God.
It's a gamble.
When did you guys meet? Like, actually, when did that connection happen?
It was somewhere because I moved in June. So I think it was around March. I think it was around her birthday, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe even earlier. Yeah.
It was March. I believe it was March 15th that you and I actually had a conversation via.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she had started, and Brian started communicating with me the day after he was found dead. Nicole was an integral part of witnessing the trauma that I was experiencing in my own relationship and the excruciating decisions that I needed to make in order to escape my situation, because unlike Beck's, where it was, physical abuse. We're talking, her life was in danger. My abuser was more in the, psychological torture realm, being threatened with suicide and extreme acts of self-harm done right in front of me, pulling the car into oncoming traffic just to scare me, refusing to let me drive. There was no limits to how extreme she was. Because she has severe trauma, and severe trauma has severe consequences, but I explained that away for way too long, and
I just want to clarify that your life was also in danger, and it doesn't matter if she didn't put her finger on you, your life was also in danger because of that behavior. Yeah.
Very true. I mean, exactly. It
just so fast.
It just took a different form.
Yeah.
And, and the real tragedy is that not only was I being lied to and gaslit and villainized by her to her friends and the lovers that, her all secret life, people, but I was also being gaslit by the very professionals I'd hired, both in the mental health realm and the spirituality realm, because the signs of reactive abuse are, no matter how fucking obvious, like in the case of Gabby Petito, put on camera with a senior officer training a junior officer. Women are still blamed for their own abuse, let into the hands of their abusers to die. Abused by someone who I deeply loved, I deeply trusted, and I gave it 4+ years and more. But you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped, and you sure as shit can't help someone who's jealous of you, because that is one point I wanted to make, that it was my very connection to Nicole Schmidt and the Gabby Petito case and the validation of my gifts as a spiritual medium, because she considered herself to be that as well. We're traumatized and we're fucking gifted, and this lady right next to me is no exception. And so she and I met at, she was a client of mine who had reached out to me. I'll let you tell your story.
Yeah, I think I had a hex on me. That's kind of our story starts. I was having this bad luck. And it was just every angle getting shoved at me. And I was like, all right, I've done Reiki in the past, and I really want to solidify a relationship with like a Reiki healer. That way I can have just a connection with somebody, have somebody to clear my energy that I trust. And I called in this like sense of panic, probably 30 Reiki masters in like New Jersey and Philadelphia. And I was getting ready to go out, and she calls me back and she's like, hey, like I got your call, like sorry it took me a minute, but like I'd love to schedule you. And I think I was like, okay, yeah, I'm on my way out. I'll reach out to you tomorrow morning. That night I ended up getting roofied. That was the night that I got roofied at the bar. So I knew, and I've always been intuitive, but I don't know. I just like felt like something bad was going to happen. And I actually left the first bar I was at because I felt like something bad was going to happen. So I left. And then at the second bar, which it worked out because I did drink my friend's drink and I saved her from getting roofied. So I took it, but she's the nurse. So she was able to keep me stable until EMS came. It's worked out, honestly, how it needed to work out. But the next morning is when I called Kat, and I was like, so yeah, I actually got roofied. So going back to...
You said you were going to reach out to me the next day, and you were also like, something bad's going to happen to me. You were so disoriented that you didn't even remember which one had called
me back. I forgot.
So,
oh my God.
I reached out to her, and she's like, I knew the right person
would reach out to me. I forgot that's what happened, because I went hypothermic. It was middle of summer. I was hypothermic for 5 hours. My heart rate went down to about 45 to 50 beats per minute.
Did they take your blood and tell you what was in your system?
This is messed up. In Philadelphia, they only take your blood to figure out which roofie it is if they do a rape kit. And after I had just woken up and already had no idea where I was, the last thing I wanted to be done was a rape kit. I already had endured enough at that point. I said, I don't even need to know. I'm just going to go home.
That's absurd.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, there's so many roofings in Philly. I guess they do try to, unless you're going criminal, you're alive, so why are you going to get tested type of thing.
I would still want to know. I would still want to know.
They definitely said I was roofied because I take Adderall, and that's a stimulant. My heart rate's higher. And the fact that my heart rate was so low, they were like, that's... and I was drinking espresso martinis, so all caffeine. There's just no reason for that to happen. But I started talking to Kat about everything, and we started... I don't even remember that first session. I was so discombobulated in life. But from what I do remember is we started talking about my ex-boyfriend and the abuse that I had gone through. And I don't know how Gabby got brought up the first time.
Well,
Kat, you told me, and I forget what it was. There was a connection with a date or something with her.
you came to me like maybe 3 or 4 times for Reiki, and I was making some pretty amazing predictions in your life with your boyfriend, and things that were going on in your life. So, and then one day I mentioned that I knew you, and you burst into tears.
Yeah, I just started freaking out. I was like, that's crazy.
And you were like, no, she saved my life. She literally saved my life. Like, if I could even have the opportunity to simply say hello to Nicole and thank you, it would be like the honor of a lifetime. And I'm like, yes, I can make that happen for you.
Yeah.
So we all started communicating via text, and now we have our little text thread.
And then my sign started.
And then your sign started.
So as soon as she got brought up to me, she started sending me signs, and this is before we had even really talked. This is only when we were really communicating at first. I think right when we got into contact. I was in Coronado in California, which is funny. We were talking about the Dirty Heads, which is obviously California, reggae, right? So I'm in California. I'm on Coronado Beach. And it was this beautiful orange van, and I was like, oh, that's you. And I took a picture of it, and I panned, and on the other side there was sandcastles, and on the sandcastles there was different sides, and one of it said, wish you were here, which is my sign. And when I got home from Coronado, I messaged Kat. I said, I think Gabby's trying to talk with me, and I don't want to sound crazy when I say this, but I just had a really weird feeling when looking at this van. And I went onto the Gabby Petito Foundation website, and the van was a sticker on the website already. And my heart...
And it's orange.
Yeah, it's orange. And when
I made that sticker.
As she's messaging me about this, I am staring. I'm sitting at a bar having a mocktail, and I'm staring at a flyer that has a orange van, just like the one we're talking about.
Like the Volkswagen. This thing started coming together, and I've been very vocal on social media about my abuse now.
And the thing about this girl, the reason she needs Reiki is because she's going a mile a minute, but it's always in the direction of her goals and her desires. And since meeting Nicole, she's become an active member of, the Gabby Petito Foundation, and being not just using her increasingly large TikTok platform to talk about Gabby's story and all the other victims of domestic violence, but is taking real action and real initiatives to work with the Gabby Petito Foundation. And I just appreciate action takers, not just talking about it, you're being about it, and I just really
No, she's amazing. We spoke on the phone about, because she's still young and goes to bars on stuff like that. I was talking to her about angel shots, and angel shots are a way for people to tell a bartender they need help. And there might be a different, each letter might mean something different. If you ask for a certain shot, it means I need a car, I need to get out of here, or I need help, I need 911. But she sent me something right after our phone call, and she was like, let's use Gabby's name. She had the whole acronym written out. I mean, it was fantastic. And I'm like, this is great. So we're going to launch that soon. I think we just got to talk again and finalize everything. But
a lot of good things are coming with that, because I'm going to be working with restaurants, definitely be able to raise some money for the foundation. I don't know if she found me or I found her, if it was kind of one and the same. Shot, everybody knows what that is now. So if you go to a bar and you have an abuser next to you, I need an angel shot.
You can't even order it anymore, right? Yeah.
What are you talking about? So trying to change names, try to find more of a...
So what is an angel shot?
Water shot. It's so the bartenders can either call the cops, get you an Uber, walk you to your car.
Okay.
It's so safety. And then after me being roofied, obviously that bar safety super important.
Yes, and we talked to the people that I think you talked to somebody else. I talked to the people that own Cup Condom. They're going to rebrand. They're actually rebranding right now. And I think you say you spoke to somebody.
Yeah, Nightcap. We would love to be involved in everything. So they're the drink covers. They have the scrunchies. They have the no ones, the ones that go on your keys. I wanted to transition a little bit because you brought up a good topic, and it's about that accountability factor of other people's. This is where I get a little bit angry, and I told Kat before we started, I don't know what comes over me when I talk about this case sometimes, but I get so angry at Brian's mother. And I think there's a conversation to be had around the enabling of behaviors And especially in sons, I don't know why. I mean, my generation makes such a joke about it because you get these mommy's boys and they're mommy's little angels who can't do anything wrong, and then there's no
Yes.
accountability for their bad actions, and then they end up doing really bad things. But in the name of love, they're behind their son, and I just wanted to kind of open the floor.
I'll start with I have similar feelings of her. I don't understand how you can be that kind of human being. If your son takes a life, I think there's a line that's been crossed. And however, as a parent, you might still want to support them. You'd have to support them through the legal process of going to jail for murdering someone, not, coddling them and helping them escape their situation. So, yeah, I'm angry about it too. I said this on another podcast recently, but I have forgiven Brian, and I did that for me. None of the other parents have, and I understand that. Maybe her siblings don't, and I understand that. I just did that for me. I felt like she's the one I can't forgive, but I try not to think about her. I try not to let her have space in my brain and in my body because it just gives me anger and hatred. I don't have hatred for almost anything except for people like her. So, yeah.
I think it's just scary to see what the lengths people will go to enable the behavior. But a friend to your abuser is not a friend to you. And learning that lesson was really tough after leaving. I had so many friends he's just a bad boyfriend. He's a great friend. That's insanity. And I think it's that type of society that breeds these kids. There's just no accountability.
It's both, the latter to an even more degree. It's one thing to enable by looking the other way, by making justifications, by excusing it, by just keeping the peace or whatever they call it. It's another to egg it on. It's another to, intentionally and maliciously try to cut someone down. That's the thing they don't realize that we know about them is they're deeply, deeply insecure people. And I'm talking about narcissists, which my ex, when I met her, we all have choices in life, and there was an aspect to her that I do believe was very authentically aligned with who I am as a person, which is kind, and she has been through severe trauma that really, much of that behavior was out of her control, and I stuck by her for years, paying for very expensive treatments, hoping, praying, believing that not only was she not lying to and about me, but that these treatments and these doctors would help. And much like in my own experience, they didn't, because they don't understand reactive abuse, and they don't understand by the time they have the actual abused person in their sight who is hysterically crying, see the Moab, Utah video for an example of this, and is now being blamed for her reactions to her abuse, not ever acknowledging the root cause, which is her abuse. Not only was my ex very jealous of me and the opportunities that I was getting and the true, genuine friendship connections that I was making with people who were aligned to me, not her, and she had two girlfriends who were both absolutely insanely jealous of us, and they made it their absolute mission to break us up with lies about I'm cheating on here and here's the proof. Exactly what Nicole said. You either forgive your abuser, which I will say, you told me in our very first phone call you forgave Brian but not Roberta. I mean, that you said that back in 2022. That didn't take you a long time to see Brian for the traumatized human that he was, and who was actually responsible for your daughter's, murder, at least as far as the enabling of it to that point, and after, very much after.
Yeah.
When you can't forgive or frankly choose not to because it's your fucking choice, you just can't let them live rent-free in your head. That's the key. It's just they don't deserve that space in your heart. They don't deserve the anger that you feel every time you think about them. So just don't think about them. You're in control of your thoughts.
Yeah, I think we talked about the cord cutting. You told me, I don't know, we talked a lot about that, and that's like a spiritual way to release anybody from your energy, because we're all connected to people. Even Roberta, because of the connection with this, I felt I had a connection with her, and a dark connection, and I wanted to release that. And I concentrated really hard on releasing her from anywhere near me and my space and my family, because I don't want to think about it. So
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that Brian was not a narcissist. Do you agree with that?
not at all. I do believe there was mental health, possibly sociopathic problems, maybe even psychopathic problems. I don't know if there was never anything diagnosed, but not a narcissist. I would say he was the opposite of a narcissist.
Was he insecure? Did you get a little bit more of a look in post everything happening?
Very insecure. I read their text messages back and forth to each other. He was trying to break her relationship with her family and her friends. He didn't like anybody else that, it was in her life. It only was him and his family that mattered. Mm-hmm. And you could see that and he would say things like, and I don't mean to use the R word, I'm just using it because it was literally in Brian's text, but he said, your mom is retarded for making you come up to New York for your grandmother's funeral since everybody has COVID. It was during COVID, and Jim's mother died, her stepdad's mom, and she came up for her funeral, and he texted her that, I'm a terrible person for making her come up and do that. So yeah.
So juvenile.
That's really how my ex was, my abuser. It was just insecurity, but it came off of a front of being so, suave and I'm so cool, and to the outwardly, he wanted to be respected. I do think my ex was a narcissist in ways just because he wanted to feel so important, but just like Roberta, I have that same feeling with his mother where I know where you went wrong with him, and I see him as that traumatized little boy, which is, I guess we could go into the conversation of why you stay with them. But I see that. No, exactly, but
that's another podcast.
Yeah, that's another, we don't need to go there yet. But I'm like, how could you have done this to a kid, and someone you love so much, you almost get angry. And he was the same type of isolation, didn't want me going out without him, not going to any clubs, but he was allowed to go out and do whatever he wanted. Friends knew, and just no one, they knew I wasn't there. They knew he was the one making me stay home, but they didn't care because he was a good friend.
Yeah. We need more men to stand up and tell other men that they're doing it wrong. So exactly. that's a big deal. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the point to make is that you don't have to be a narcissist to be a murderer.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a all terrible person to do a terrible thing. We all have that within us, especially if you've experienced trauma, especially if you've been raised by a narcissist, which Roberta absolutely is. So, my definition of narcissism is somebody who is intending harm. I mean, you've been through so much. Yeah. You really have, none of us have gotten through this lifetime easily because, frankly, when the path is harder, the calling is higher. And our voices are meant to be elevated. And we were chosen by Gabby Petito. Obviously, you as her mother, me as her medium, and you, frankly, as her friend, I think. And
wish I would have been her bestie. I would have taken her to every Dirty Heads concert. Sure.
She would have had so much fun with you.
And let's not go back to the other music topic that is wild, and I think this is debunking something that's out there. Because there's a lot of false information.
Oh, yes, I forgot because we got onto the Dirty Heads before.
Yes, is Nicole told me that after Gabby's murder, you found one song first on her playlist, and which song was it?
Yeah, I was scrolling through her playlist, and I just scrolled all the way down to the bottom, and the very last song was If I Die Young.
It's just amazing. Just as synchronistic as Beck is texting me the picture of the orange van, I'm looking at Orange Van, as Nicole is telling me this stunning detail that of Gabby's last song being If I Die Young. Which is by the band Perry. I am looking at Perry Road, a street sign, and I am in a place called Promised Land, Pennsylvania. And the other detail I don't want to forget about is you told me in our first conversation that, talking about your own intuition and Gabby's as well, the last hug that you shared in the driveway, there was some intuitive feeling about it that it might be your last. Is that true?
Yeah, because it was a weird hug. At the time, of course, you don't know what it means, but looking back, she was hugging me very tight and she was crying. And I remember asking her, why are you crying? And she was like, she would sometimes do this laugh cry thing because she didn't know why she was upset. So she would be like, I don't know. She would just she's laughing but crying at the same time. And I just felt like as a mom, I was like, why would she be crying? She should be so excited in this moment. Maybe her excitement just it was overwhelming, but I don't know. I just felt something was off about that hug. Like, I'm glad I had it, and I'm glad that like that hug means more to me now than anything, because, you know, I know her dad didn't get to see her right before she left, and you know, I just felt so blessed to have that moment with her. But yeah, just crazy how things you don't realize them at the time, and you look back and you just know that something was more to it than there is.
I think the last big topic we definitely want to hit before we log off is the entertainment portion of it. I mean, these true crime pages, some of them are just the YouTube, the TikToks, the way the case was handled. I mean, obviously on one aspect it's beautiful. You know, you have all these eyes on, you know, Gabby, and it's, you know, you want to find her, and it's great, you know, but there's a lot that comes with that. And, you know, it's not just Gabby. She has siblings and 4 parents. Beautiful. 4 parents that love her. I just kind of wanted to get your perspective on how that has affected you guys and your family. Just, you know, is there ever really an escape for you guys?
Yeah, I think that I felt like we were very blessed. When she was missing, that's what you want. We didn't care about all the TikTokers. When people start making up stories and assumptions about what may have happened, that's when you start to you cross lines of, like, you know, making accusations that let's wait for, you know, the authorities to tell us what they find. Stop making things up. But, you know, we were happy to have that attention. We wished, after the fact, when we looked at it, we wished everybody had that same attention, because, you know, every mother out there that's missing a child, or anybody that's missing a loved one, wants that, and they're not getting it. So I don't know. We managed it really well. I think that we found the good people. There's a lot of great creators out there. And they're really respectful. They do it from their heart. And I think that we managed to find most of them. So we're very blessed that way. A few mistakes here and there, bumps in the road, but, you know, you get to know who's not the best, and you don't really want to talk to them because they're sensationalized, and you move on. Yeah. But, yeah, if someone's missing, that's when it almost doesn't matter. Everybody can tell the story. We had a friend recently up in Chicago. Her aunt was missing, and there was, all of a sudden, people started saying, "Whoa, did the husband do something?" And this and that. And it was just like, we don't even know what happened yet. And she was seen on camera alone, you know, so why are we starting to make up stories before we even know anything? And unfortunately, they found her in the river. But it's just really sad that there's people out there who try to hop on the bandwagon, you know. Oh, this is the hot story right now, let's make money. But that's what the news has always done too. So, I mean, there's really no regulations for it. There are no regulations. So until there are people, or people care more, then they're just going to keep doing it. So it's nothing.
People has definitely,
COVID
has gone away a little bit.
The other part of the entertainment conversation is the fact that you're not compensated. Your foundation isn't even compensated.
No.
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 Companies that are making a tremendous amount of money on these, you know, whether it's dramatizations of her story.
Lifetime.
Oh, I saw that.
Let's talk about it.
Can we talk about that? That is crazy.
Wait, tell me what happened.
I have to pull it up.
It just makes me sad, because Lifetime decided they were going to make a movie very, very early on. I mean, I think it came out in, late 2022, early 2023. I think it was like early, like it was so soon. The case wasn't even like over yet. I mean, it was wacky, but they didn't talk to us, and I'm sad about it, because you know what? Maybe if they had talked to us, they would have been able to make something better, and maybe something good, you know, like,
because it was not good.
She looks nothing like Gabby.
No.
Absolutely. He looks nothing like Brian.
And like, it just, I think it was just the issue of, like, there were still things up in the air about the case that people didn't even like know yet. And it's just given a moment, you know, but people want to be the first to release something so that I don't know.
It's given me pause knowing you, and, you know, seeing the behind the scenes and how, you know, it's not compensated. Because I was both surprised and very angry about that.
Oh, yeah.
But I assumed that you were getting some sort of, whether it be, you know, financial compensation to, cover funeral expenses, for example, and
Yeah.
things of that nature. Or the foundations that are established in hers and so many others' honors that, help contribute to the problem. And it pisses me off. It's more in her wheelhouse.
I can tell you quickly, though, there were a few of the larger named people that made a donation to the foundation, but they announced it publicly. So, and I don't want to say I'm regretful of doing these, but we are in the beginning, we talked to everybody. So Dr. Phil, his show, they made a $25,000 donation to the foundation. Dr. Oz, they did, I can't remember how much, but they did one as well. And I'm trying to think, there was another network we did a small 1 hour documentary with. They interviewed us. They were wonderful to work with. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Peacock or something. They made also a contribution to the foundation. But out of all the ones that we've done, those are the only ones. But it was nice of them to do that. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
I don't know if you saw my Netflix videos. I'm a Netflix hater with their AI and how they want AI.
Yes, I have. I did, and I told my kids we're never going to one of those places.
They did change it though, and I know certain states are now looking into name, likeness, and branding, and it continues after death. And I think that would alleviate
It's crazy.
That issue of parents who lose their children, then people are profiting off of it. No, now they have to be involved because it's technically you. You know what I mean? Like, it is you in a way, and you should have rights over that. So, I mean, maybe that's a new angle I can.
Well, yes, and we need to talk about that at some point because I have some ideas for you. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
And then similarly, which is what in my wheelhouse but pisses her off, is mediums who aren't sincere either in their gifts or their intentions.
In the very beginning of this, we had a lot of psychics, mediums reached out via whatever, if it was, I don't know if it was through social media or whatever, and Gabby I see her, she's tied up in a basement somewhere, and they say these things and you're like, oh my God.
Don't call me with that.
Please. Yeah.
It's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
And, you're not helping, you're hurting, you're adding confusion where there's already plenty of
right.
It's very predatory, as you said.
Yeah, I don't like that. Well, we could talk for hours, I think, and
we could
at some point. Thank you so much again, Nikki, for coming on and hanging out with us and talking about Gab a little bit. I'm happy that you're able to be with us, even remotely. We'll get you in person next time.
By the way, she thought you were going to be in person, when she arrived here. She's like, "Where's Nikki?"
I was like, "When's Nikki gonna get here?" And she said, "She's not here."
I'm in Florida, right?
Now we know. Yeah, I thought we travel all the time, so I was like, maybe she's coming for the night. I don't know.
That would have been fun, though. Yeah.
Well, next time, it was so nice seeing everybody. Seeing you, of course. I'll see you soon. I see her all the time. And if you want to do a quick plug, Nikki, of where they can go.
Yeah, if they want to just know more information about our foundation, go to GabbyPetitoFoundation.org, and we're on all the socials they're all at Gabby Petito Foundation. I don't remember which one is different. I think it's either Instagram or Twitter is at Gab's Foundation. It's just a little different, but yeah. So.
Where can they find you?
At KatSchwartz.com. Hopefully when you see this updated website, but I'm working on it, people. But KatSchwartz.com or on socials, Kat Schwartz _CHS.